Like,
come on, therapy.
Therapy, I remember when I had my son, I had a lot of anxiety. That I was like, girl, you're not even an anxious person.
We don't even, listen, we talk about postpartum depression, but we don't ever mention postpartum anxiety.
Girl, everything got a label on it. A choke hazard, you know, a SIDS warning.
And it's like this is your resresponsibility. If something happens, it is on you.
Like,
yes.
This is your person.
Yes.
And you love them.
Yes.
Like, you know, my son, I was like, I remember my mom telling me that when she had me, she's like, I never felt love like that. And like, it's true. Becoming a parent, you're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, I love you beyond.
Yeah.
And so I had all these roles that I was playing. I was CEO, I was mom, I was wife. And my therapist was like, you've never renegotiated your relationships in these role changes. And you haven't given yourself time to deal with these different roles. You're just rolling with the punches instead of being like, okay, who am I in this space? Yeah. So therapy was really helpful in that regard too.
Listen, okay, so let's talk about maternal, because becoming a mother, you know, I feel like people be judging me when I say this, but I can only be honest, okay? What I thought, like, my first introduction to postpartum depression was like an episode of ER. It was like a woman had come in, she had tried to harm her baby, and in my mind, that's what postpartum depression meant. Right. It's like, you don't like your baby, you don't love your baby. That's what it meant to me.
Let it cry in a room.
And listen, don't cancel me, don't kill me in the comments. That's truly what I thought it meant. But then you become a mother, and I'm a part of all of these Facebook groups because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out. So I'm getting a part of these communities to try to get with other people. And the things that they were going through and talking about, I could not necessarily identify with. But then I had my baby. And I still don't necessarily feel like I never wanted to harm my child. I never wanted to harm myself. But I feel like there was definitely like a loss of like my old life. You know, like a depression around losing who I was and the freedom. I mean, especially as entrepreneurs, the freedom that we are blessed with is like irreplaceable. So losing that, and then it's like, yo, this baby he's still here. You know, like you wake up and he's still here.
Or they wake you up. It's
it's like, damn, I'm a mom again. You know, like again.
I can't even sleep how I want to.
I still can't sleep how I want to, okay? Still can't sleep how I want to. But that to me is a conversation that we don't have. You don't know these things until you're in it. You can't really prepare for it. And like I just said, the anxiety thing, you know, like making sure he's still breathing, that's a whole thing that it's like never goes away. I don't think it's right. No, I don't think it's ever going to go away. And so I'm assuming that part of that was like some of your motivation behind creating, you know, the movement, but tell me, like, what was your motivation behind it?
Maternal was a lot about my life design. And even then I was designing my life, and I didn't really know that I was doing it back then, but I worked in nonprofit before becoming a full-time entrepreneur in the finance space. And so we talked a lot about maternal mortality. Like, this was before it was a buzzword. This is like 2010, 2011. We're talking about maternal mortality. So I was terrified. I was like, yo, women are really dying.
Having
babies in like
America.
Post 2000s.
And Georgia's like number one on the list. Yeah.
And so I had anxiety about that. And so when I got pregnant, I had an OBGYN, I had a midwife, and I also had a birthing class instructor. So I took the Bradley birthing method, and then I had my midwife who I was paying for out of pocket, and then OBGYN who my insurance was paying. Yeah. And I realized, and I had an amazing like pregnancy, I had an amazing delivery. It was just beautiful. And I realized that I had a privileged birthing experience because I had the financial resources to do so. Yep. And I didn't want women not to have a beautiful and therapeutic birthing experience because
they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why maternal was created.
Gotcha.
But then also we support pregnancy and beyond. So it's not just like pregnancy.
Baby, it's a beyond.
It's really the postpartum.
Yes.
Like it really is the like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to wash my hair and eat in between trying to get
Can
sleep?
I shower?
Because they tell you sleep while the baby sleeps, but it's like,
yeah,
what
right.
do I
I'm worried
do?
about the baby staying alive while he's sleeping. I need to watch him.
And like, what do I, because now I got to catch up. Yeah. Like now I got to like wash my ass while the baby is sleeping.
And then he might wake up in the middle of, so it's a thing.
So I want women to have that support because I think a lot of that also drives postpartum depression.
For sure.
And like I remember, and I had all these resources. My midwife was amazing after I had my son. I had a hospital birth, but she came to the house like every day to check on me and like made sure I ate and everything else. And my like Karis's father was also amazing. I was like, look, we got to eat. And so he found a chef and was having meal prep, like meals delivered. We ate so good in them postpartum days. But that really helped. I still remember sitting down in my room, like trying to find something to wear. And I was like, damn, I can't wear none of this because my titties is leaking. I can't wear this. I can't wear this. I got to be able to like easy access and like breastfeed him and everything. And it hit, and I was like, wow, life is different. Like, girl, you can't even leave the house without putting your little nipple pad in because otherwise you're going to have a little ring like right there on your shirt.
You're going to be embarrassed.
Because the letdown done happened. And it was that. And then I wanted to get my nails done. I was like, I don't even have time to go get a manicure and a pedicure. And I mean, that could sound privileged or whatever, but like that's
real life. Yeah.
And it was like.
And I'm not taking my baby to the nail shop. That's one place he is not going.
I'm not taking a newborn. Like, I mean, I'm not judging anybody that has.
Yeah, no shade.
No.
I'm just not,
you got to do what you got to do. But Kara still ain't stepped foot in the nail shop.
Yeah, no.
Like, we're going to do it while he's at school.
Right.
But also, I'm an entrepreneur. That comes down to life design.
Right.
And understanding,
we have the freedom to make those choices.
Space for myself.
Yeah.
Outside of being a parent. And for me, being an entrepreneur allows me to have that space for myself. And allows me to afford to hire people to give me that space for myself. So, yeah, that's maternal. We also cover... if someone wants to become a doula or a birth worker, we will cover their training so that they can serve more Black women. We paid for laundry, we paid for housekeepers.
I love it.
Babysitters, diapers. Like, what do you need to experience motherhood on your own terms right now?
There's so many things again that you like don't know about until it's like you're okay. At this point, you're pregnant. There's no turning back. Like the baby is coming. You have to figure these things out. It's too late for you to say, okay, wait a minute, I'm not ready for that. Like you have to it's like on the job training. You got to figure it out. God. And to your point, I feel like I had a very privileged pregnancy. My birth experience was not, I've never even talked about it, y'all. And I still got PTSD. I still can't really talk about it. I ain't gonna lie to you. But what I had prepared, because I'm preparing for everything.
Yes, you're a prepper.
Classes.
Listen,
I'm doing all of the things. Like
you had your overnight, you had your night nurse.
Listen,
like, well, I was like, when the baby coming?
I had my night nurse. I had I had all of it. I paid for the doula. I paid out of pocket. My husband works for Kaiser. Like when I say my baby would have cost like $500, like nothing. We paid out of pocket for a home birth, for a midwife, for the doula, for all of the things. And then nothing that I prepared for worked out the way that I anticipated. But thank God I had, the luxury of being able to, try to plan my process the best that I could. But there are so many women who can't advocate for themselves. No. They show up at the hospital clueless, get taken advantage of, get mistreated, get borderline abused, in these hospitals, and they're scared. And it's a scary thing. Like there's so many reasons to actually be scared. And so, I commend you for it, because it ain't, I don't know, there's not a lot of money in, creating resources for... Oh,
it's a labor of love. Right. Ain't no money over there.
Right. This is a passion project.
Ain't no money over there.
Because you realize, like, it's needed. It's necessary. And, I just had my midwife on an episode where we talked about, like, how home birthing is like shunned. It's like looked down upon.
Oh my gosh.
That's the whole thing.
I remember when I told my mom that I had hired a midwife, my mom was like, so you gonna have my grandbaby in the house like some? I was like girl,
a heathen, like some savage.
First of all, like he might be safer in the house than the hospital.
Much